There are lots of people who grow up in church. Some even literally grow up on a church property. Even though I never did, that's how I always felt. 6 out of the 7 days were already spent there, and on those extra special days, we would get a call from Pastor that something needed to be fixed. We were there fixing something on a Saturday, just for fun. I never enjoyed going to church. I would always try to get out of going no matter what. Yet every time I tried not to go, I went with or without the spanking every single time. And growing up, I had a good life. I had a loving mom and dad, so why would I need somebody else there for me? I used to never like church. I always felt like it was an inconvenience in my little life. But in 3rd grade, a special speaker came to church. He was doing all these cool magic tricks, and it really caught my eye. That's when I first really listened to a message. When he finished his message, he asked if I knew where I was going when I was done, as they do after every message, and I usually never pay attention. I usually fall asleep and wait for him to say amen. But something about this, I felt like I needed to raise my hand, so I did. Oh bro, was I scared. I never stood up in front of my friends like that before. What was going to happen to all the coolness I built up with all those years in elementary? Were they ever going to talk to me again? Would I get laughed at? I had all these questions running through my head about my friends as I was walking out the door. But then Jacob Woodfin walked out beside me and sat me on a cement bench we had. And he just talked with me. He asked how my day was and if I understood God. I didn't know what was going to happen, but it was nice. We talked about Jesus and what he has done for me, and he asked me to bow my head and pray. So we did, and that's when I asked Jesus Christ into my heart. I honestly still never felt like I needed him, though. My life was good, and I had some good, loving parents, I think. And I always got to play outside with my friends. Life was good. I was just a little kid enjoying 3rd grade. But then school really became a struggle for me. I had a ton of tutors trying to help me out with school, but I could never get the hang of school. So as a little kid, I just gave up. I had no more motivation for school. I was never doing my schoolwork, and all I did was just play. I never cared about school. And then when I was in junior high, I was out dirt biking with my dad, and I smacked the ground with my face. And I thought I just had a little concussion, but it turned out I had a severe one. It was pretty wild. My life changed a little bit. At the time, I thought it was a blessing. I got taken out of school, and I could hang out at home. But for me, at a big cost. I couldn't play basketball for that year, and that really is what hurt. For a while, it seemed like my whole life was just going downhill. After I hurt my head, our family life was in jeopardy. I didn't know what to do. Who do I even turn to? Who wants to hear my problems in life? I had all these things to think about, and no one to listen to me. But someone really was there, God. He was always there for me. He always wanted to listen to me, but I didn't take the time to bow my head until I was in a deep family rut. And he really did help me. And I end my time at this school to say this. Keep going for your goals. When you're where I am, you don't want to look back on everything you regret in your school life. You want to smile and say, I'm happy with the mark I left at this place. In a parable from Matt 25, a master gives his servants talents, hoping that they'll grow as servants. Don't be like the first servant, who hides his talents from the world, but be like the other servants. In the parable, practice using your gifts for God's service, so that God may tell you, well done, thou good and faithful servant.